What's up, fellow original trilogy fanatics? Today we're going to show off a lightsaber from A New Hope. This is Roman props. Obi Wan Kenobi's saber, and this is the weathered version, and it's the FX version. And hopefully we're going to show off a world's first again today. This is a fully removable chassis. It has swappable LED modules, which we're going to show, and also a USB charge circuit in the back end of it, which I think is also hopefully world's first on a build like this, because I was definitely going for my master's degree in cram fu on this one, and this was the hardest build ever due to the size constraints and the internal diameter. But now that it's done, I'm loving it. And so I was commissioned by Master Jeff out in Singapore, and again, you know, he approached me and we started talking about what we were going to do with this thing. And so let's go ahead and get into it. I'm going to go ahead and show off the wood box that he doesn't know about yet. So again, surprise, it comes with a wood box. That's kind of going to become my standard now for these builds. But I went a little crazy on this box. This is my first time using the laser cutter to laser etch on the wood itself. And so on the front half of it, let me see if I can tip it up here. On the front half of it, we have in Arabesh, let's see if we can get past the shadowing. It says, "This lightsaber is claimed to be the property of an Obi Wan Ben Kenobi." And then you flip it around to the back. And on the back side, Master Jeff wanted it signed and dated. And we talked about doing it on the lightsaber, but there was just no place to do it. There's no room at all. So on the back side in Arabesh, it says, "Restored and force infused by Master Maltese, Jedi Arms Dealer, for Master Jeff Chong on 11/11/17. So let's go ahead and dig into this saber and show off everything this thing can do. Here we go. Now, the way this works is, of course, this comes with you know, my standard kill key, and it's a rotating kill key, turn kill key. And so let's see if I can zoom in here, and we can see the pattern on this. And basically, the way this is going to fire up is you've got little lines on here, and eventually, you know, you'll be able to learn which way the lines go when it turns on. Also, it feels really easy when it gets to that part on the turn kill key. So let's go ahead and activate it. And there's your boot up sound every time you turn on the saber. And so, of course, you have on your clamped activation, you have your power on blade and auxiliary here. So let's go ahead and do that. And this uses Nigon Electronics, the i2R2, which is an absolutely incredible card. I had a great time configuring the sound fonts on this. It's just incredible what you can do with this, the way you can set it up. I'm gonna show that off as well. How you can duel with this while music is playing, while tracks are playing, while long movie samples are playing. That was my favorite part about this card, other than, you know, the swing sensitivity spot on. And then this features the dual phase feature. Right now it's showing blue and green, which is kind of like, you know, the original trilogy Obi-Wan colors. So when you rotate it, then it switches over to another color, whichever one you select for dual phase mode. So let's go ahead and power down. We'll go to showcase the first font that I put a part of the movie track in.
Ben Kenobi? Boy, am I glad to see you.
I haven't gone by the name of Obi Wan since before you were born. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly. An elegant weapon for a more civilized day.
I've been waiting for you, Obi Wan.
So here we are, fighting Vader, and This is what I love about this card. This is so cool. So you can fire this up. And what I had to do to retain the hum is I got some advice from Scott on this. And he said the way to retain the hum was to mix in whatever song or track or long movie sample you want with the hum on the ignition. So then it gives us this, you know, this movie battle. So if you want to jump in and try to save the day and make sure that Obi Wan doesn't die on your own version, here we go. So while the hum is playing, layered on top of the movie track, you can get in there and the Saber will do everything. You can get in there and battle with them. Or just kick back and listen to one of my favorite scenes from all of the Star Wars movies of all time.
Can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine.
So you guys get the idea on that one. Let's go ahead and power it down. And we'll go to the next font I want to showcase that's a similar type of setup, but more on the Star Wars, I guess, Jedi tip.
I've been waiting. You should not have come back.
Your eyes can deceive you, Darth. I felt a great disturbance in the Force.
Alright, so here we go. This is one of my favorites. And so you can put multiple boot sounds in there. So there's two boot sounds in there. One is the standard hum, and then it randomly chooses the other one. So let's see if we can get it this time. There we go. So some good old Star Wars theme music. You can get in there and start fighting around. So yeah, I had to show that off. That's a pretty cool feature of the sound section of this Saber. It's pretty amazing. So let's see, what should we do next? Let's go ahead and show off the swappable LED modules. So, of course, Master Jeff asked for an RGB setup, and so this is Nigon Electronics RGB copper heatsink LED in here. And so what I've done is when you go in and you remove the emitter, you just unscrew this part of it, and we're going to rotate this half and hold on to the LED module with my thumb and unplug it. And so what happens is, set this down gently. Actually, let's just put it in there. So what happens is, you take this out, and here's your steel LED heatsink module that Roman's Props provides. And so I know there's a lot of workarounds out there and some pretty cool things that people have done to try to get past this this heat issue, because steel isn't real great at dissipating heat. I know that Dmitry Shatok has come out with some really nice copper and aluminum heat sinks for this. Unfortunately, I was 3/4 of the way through this build and already had this all worked out when he released his heat sinks. So this was my workaround for now, and it works great as far as heat dissipation. Basically, what I did was ended up taking a copper heat sink from TCSS and mounting it on there. So this gets a lot of the heat immediately. It's a real thick copper heat sink away from the LED, the LED RGB LED, and some of it does dissipate into here, but so yeah, this works great for now. So the beautiful thing about the way that I wanted to set this up is you take the other LED module, and this is a blue-white tri-rebel, and it's heat sink the same way. And so all you do is you pop it into this heat sink here, the heat sink module, all the way in, and then we drop it back into the emitter. You're going to hold on to it with your finger or thumb, and then you're going to pop it right back in here. Let's see if I can do this on camera. Make sure you screw it in there. All right, I'm gonna have to look around the camera, hold on. Get it in there right. And so you just plug it in and rotate it into place. Okay, so now I've got it seated, and then you just rotate it in the rest of the way. There you go. Now the blue white is snug in there. It's plugged in via the headphone jack, which we're going to show off later after I open it up. And off we go again, now with the Obi Wan. Really bright blue. With a white flash on clash whenever the red dye is activated. So that's kind of the way that I set it up. So now that that's in there, showed that off, let's go ahead and get in and pull out the chassis. I have one more thing I want to show off while it's ignited. What I can do is pull this clamp card out. And so Master Jeff didn't know this, but I made it with two different clamp cards. This is, of course, the stock Obi Wan to make it screen accurate. So let's pull this guy out of here. And I have a clear one. So the way that I designed this with the crystal chamber, you can slide the clear one in and clamp it down. And the crystal chamber actually, let me turn the LED module off on the box. And you can actually see the crystal chamber has a shine through effect on the bubble strip if you use the clear version. So there you go, Master Jeff. You can go back and forth between the two. All right, so let's get in here and take this little guy apart. Let's get rid of the bubble strip, and we're going to take out our switch extension. And you can actually disassemble it while it's activated. It doesn't hurt at all. So we're going to go ahead and unscrew the back half. We'll take off the pommel. Alright, I'll slip that down. Take it apart in order. Next piece, back half of the reveal. And then we are going to have to pull the turn kill key to slide off the clamp. So let's go ahead and do that. And here we go. Clamp comes off. And then let's unscrew. It's like the steel cage. And so out comes the chassis. Now I went with a crazy weathered look on this because I wanted it to look, you know, like the Tatooine desert. And so there's the top half. Let's move that out of the way a little bit more. And so then you can slide it out of the cage. So here we go. Now, the really cool thing about this is, you know, of course, on any fully removable chassis, it works completely out of the chassis. So let me plug it in. I can't see it through the camera. So we can just plug the heatsink module into here and off we go. Let's go choose a different font. It's hard to see through this camera. There we go. So now that we've got it all plugged together, let's fire it up. Well, let's see. I thought I had it set to, there we go, to rotate. So there you go. I put the RGB LED module back in, and so we can do dual phase. And it changes colors. And then the amber light that I put in this window, when you rotate it, it's pretty much just to tell you which of the two phases you're on. Right now we're on phase 2. If you rotate it again and it comes on, then it's letting you know that you're on phase 1. So yeah, let's go ahead and put the kill key back in and show off some of the features of this chassis. There we go. All right. So we already discussed the LED module, and so we're going to unplug that and set it off to the side. And then this is obviously the part that goes into the thin neck, that portion. And here's the receiver end of the front of the chassis. And so one of the things that I put in here when you pull the kill key is Master Jeff requested purple and amber LEDs, which I thought was a pretty unique and cool color combination. This has a 6-volt 5mm ultraviolet LED in the end of it, and it's kind of cool because it almost acts like a power level indicator. And so when the Saber gets below, I don't know about, I don't want to quote exactly, but when it gets a couple volts low, this light will actually almost go out, and that's kind of how you can tell, you know, other than you're going to start to hear, you know, the audio quality go down because the battery's going dead, other things. That's when you can kind of tell that it's time to charge it. But when we activate the Saber, let's go to a different font, and we'll do the twist turn on.
If you strike me down, elegant weapon.
I've been waiting for you. You should not have come back.
This is a pretty wicked sounding font. There we go. Twist activation. And it's already done dual phase. And so if you look in the front of the emitter, you can really see the amber flickering LED through there. And so then in Arabesh, I did something really unique here. Let's go ahead and shut this down because I'm going to be talking over it the whole time. Hold on a sec, gotta grab the kill key and then put it in the switch hole to shut this down. Okay, so one of the things that I did with the Arabesh on here is I used these templates, and what the effect I was going for is I literally wanted it to look like Obi Wan carved this, you know, chilling out in his hut in the desert, or you know, wherever he actually first started building the Saber. So I did something I haven't done before. Normally I'll do saltwater etching on this type of Arabesh, but I actually made templates on the acrylic laser cutter and laid them over top of here and took out my Dremel and hand engraved these deep into the aluminum and then weathered it so that, you know, they'd pop a little more and show up. And so of course it's the Jedi code, and so it says peace. Oops, there we go again. Came on with the twist. Knowledge, serenity, harmony, and of course the Force. All right, so let's turn it back off again. And we'll just use this guy. There we go. So let's get down into the crystal chamber section, and I used a clear double terminated floating effect crystal in here because, you know, Obi-Wan's classy, and of course he's gonna have one of the finest kyber crystals in there. But I took a lot of elements, that right there that you can see on the speaker grill right here, because basically the way, let me go over the layout real quick. Of course, you know, you got your connector on the end of it, your battery's in here. This is the secondary recharge port, and you know, the turn kill key port. And so the speaker is right here, and then there's a speaker grill on top of that, and it's mirrored acrylic. You can see down in there, it's mirrored acrylic, and it has like the Millennium Falcon, a mirrored window of the Millennium Falcon, you know, etched in there, not or cut out in there, so the sound can come through. And then of course, you know, we went a little crazy on the greeblies like we like to do. Let's get up here nice close, see if it focuses. Yeah, there we go. So lots of greeblies. If you look here, you can see the power wires. These are 24 gauge OFC power wires that go the length from the battery up to the card for a nice thick gauge for power supply to everything. And then when you flip it over, you can see, oh, here we go again. Twist activation is a beautiful thing. Let's shut it off again. So you can see on the back side, I used the decorative mil-spec 30 gauge wiring to go through the back. You can see it going up through the acrylic. And then of course there's real brass fins in here that were custom cut out and molded to fit in this chassis. And then this part right here took me like a week to figure out how to do a reduction from this diameter down to this diameter, and then how to tie the two in together and make it really strong when it was finished. So that was probably the most difficult part of the build, is that big thick acrylic disc right there. But it's in there and it's not going anywhere. Some of the oxidation agents that I used for the weathering went in and seeped in around the copper, and it actually ended up doing a really cool effect of like, you know, aqua green or like blue oxidation on the copper. And then you can see the power wires going up through these two rods here with the windows that I made, and then lots of greeblies. So we get down into this section, which holds the card, and there's 3 cards stacked on top of one another inside the chassis. On the top, you turn it like this, the top layer is an 8 LED bar graph, which all the connections are connected to the Nigon Electronics card, the Igniter 2. And then underneath that is a micro USB charge circuit that's tied in line into this Saber, and you can charge it right here on the micro USB. You just plug it in. And then one of the things that I'm including as sort of a safety feature, you get your Jedi Arms dealer keychain here. And then this is a solid kill key. It doesn't have the notch in it for the turn kill key part of it. So whenever you go to charge this with the USB, you're going to want to put this in. And so that'll disable power to it. And then, you know, it'll allow you to charge the Saber via USB, because it won't hurt it to have, you know, the card in idle mode. One thing you never want to do is activate the Saber while the USB charge port is plugged in, because I don't know what that'll do. And but in idle mode, you know, it's okay to if you accidentally forget or something, just for a couple of seconds. But, you know, for good practice, let's put the safety kill key in and charge it up using the USB. The reason I wanted to set it up this way is I kind of felt bad that the only way to charge it with this type of fully removable chassis would be to take the chassis all the way out, and that's the only way you could get the charger into the charge port, because the clamp, you know, extends out too far, so the charger wouldn't go past the clamp. And so now you have 2 options, you know, with the USB. So that's kind of cool. Of course, your this is your SD card access, pretty usual. And then with tweezers, you just pop it out with the back side of the tweezers and pull it out, and there you go. You can make changes. So I'm trying to think if there's anything else that I have forgotten to go over. I think that pretty much covers it. Yeah. So we'll pull the emergency kill key. And so that's it. We'll do one more illuminated pass at the very end.
Ben, hi.
Let's see if I have another favorite font.
I shall become elegant with it.
And so
Been waiting
another thing that I'm going to do, is do a video of this card in demo mode. This is the coolest thing that Scott set up, and is in demo mode. Is you can just set the Saber down and put it in demo mode, and it'll run through all of the fonts. This card holds 16 fonts, and so it'll run through all the fonts and do all the effects and all this stuff just with it just sitting there. And so I'm gonna do another video with just the Saber sitting here like this, with the chassis and then the LED in the end on the next video, just so you guys can see everything that I programmed with the fonts and everything. Also, I gotta give a shout out to Roman's Props. Oh my gosh, dude, this thing is a work of art. It is incredible. I've held a lot of Sabers in my life, and this is my favorite, hands down. This is unbelievable. And Scott, thank you for this card. It is a blast. I love setting this thing up. The audio section is just unbelievable, and you really nailed it on this version. So, you know, thank you both you guys for that. It's just incredible. So I think that pretty much does it. We'll do the quick pass. See if I can get it to focus. There we go. And we'll do a quick pass 360. Also got a little see-through window on the back. Lots of Tatooine desert weathering. And probably the craziest crystal chamber I've ever done. It's truly unique design, the way the crystal goes through the center acrylic piece and then comes out and is suspended in the middle. Or suspends each of the pointed sides. And so here's the back side of it. And of course, this is brass with copper screen to diffuse the light and just to make it look cool. Because Obi Wan's cool. I think he's the coolest one. So there we go. Steel mesh. And I think that's going to do it. Also, if I forgot to mention, Master Jeff, of course, your box comes with the finest bantha fur. So there you go. A New Hope all the way. Alright, thanks a lot for watching, guys. There's another one. Take care, and we'll chat soon. And may the Force be with you.